Welcome back to In the Garden. I'm here with Jordan from Grange Co-op, and I'm sure if you go into your backyard right now, you will be able to find some ferns. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about ferns. There's a lot to kind of learn about these guys, a lot of different variations. What's kind of the first thing that people should know about ferns?
Sure. I think a lot of people think that fern as the filler, it's the background. Sometimes it's like a weed, but really it can be the focus of a shade garden. Several can thrive in some afternoon sun, but really we're aiming for afternoon protection, morning sun if need be. They're going to vary in terms of their size, their texture, and what they do, but they work really well as companion plants for a lot of your other landscape ideas.
Okay. And okay, so you said there's a lot of variation. These guys grow up, these guys kind of go to the side. Why does that happen? And like, what's kind of the difference between the two?
Sure. So ferns come in, we can categorize them, I guess, in two basic subsets. You have your evergreen ferns, like the western sword, which is the native variety that you'll see when you go hiking in the mountains around here. Then you have your herbaceous ferns. They'll die back. You also might see some labeled as semi-evergreen. What they're going to do in winter is die back to the ground, but they'll have a small cluster of fronds near the surface. Just know that they're still kicking, they're still thinking about spring, they're still there for you.
All right. And so I'm sure if you guys can look at a fern, if you've explored it, they have, what are they, spurs?
Spores.
Spores on the back of them. And so can you kind of give an explanation on kind of what they are and kind of what they really mean for a fern?
Yeah. So ferns don't flower. They're a very ancient species or ancient family of plants, but they do set up spores. I do get some people panic. They say, my fern is covered in black dots. What's wrong with it? It means you have a very happy fern. It'll set these spores on usually after spring when it's had some humidity. Ferns don't always spread like weeds in the garden. Sometimes they do propagate, but mostly this is just showing it's a happy plant. Nothing happens after that. They don't have to be worried about the mother plant passing on or needing to put offsets. It just shows that the plant is thriving and doing what nature intended.
Alrighty. And then with like, if you want to keep them, you know, as a plant for watering, what does that like look like watering wise?
So ferns don't have a really complicated or in-depth root ball. You often see them growing on dang near anything. So they're definitely going to need a lot of water. They are not a xeriscape plant. There are some tougher ferns out there, but humidity is going to be key. They also want that to have nice full fronds. A fern that's not getting adequate humidity is probably going to have underdeveloped fronds that it comes in. It's not going to look good in the garden. The other thing we want to consider is that when we're planting it, we have a lot of organic matter in the soil. These are plants that have adapted to grow on tree trunks and up in the air as epiphytes and on forest bark with, again, shallow roots. So something like an acid planty mix or a lot of wood and fibrous mulch is really great for them. Fertilizing is very low. They're not heavy feeders, but a little bit of acid lover fertilizer or something able also for rhodies and blueberries and whatnot, just a sprinkle, is going to help them keep them green. All
right. And so you said that you have a favorite kind of fern. Is that this guy right here?
I do. This is the autumn fern. My favorite thing about it is that these new fronds have this gorgeous foliage, almost like, you know, reminding us that fall is only a few short months away. And it'll keep sending those out well through the summer.
Right. And then this one over here kind of has like a purpley look to it. Why is that?
Japanese red ferns are another popular choice up here. Hardy, even though they look a little bit more on the delicate side. And again, yeah, those new fronds with that splash of color really set off in the landscape.
All right. Well, great. Well, if you guys want to plant some ferns or, you know, take care of them in your backyard, you can always head to our website at KDRV.com to learn more information. Or, of course, head into a Grange Co-op store to learn more information about these gorgeous and historic plants. But thanks so much for joining us in the garden.